Alright, so I've been tracking this development for the past several days, and it's some pretty interesting stuff because it seems like with the introduction of TU17 and Season 11 for the Division 2, or soon thereafter, we had a stealth nerf enter the game. And even though I think it's overall a net positive kind of outcome that this has kind of all resulted in, it's some interesting stuff that led up to this point, so I kind of want to recap and bring you all up to speed on it. Hey everyone, RogueGold here, and today we are talking about the busy little bee because it has actually been nerfed in PvP. I'm gonna guess maybe a few of you have heard about it by now, but probably for the majority of you, this is coming as a surprise because it was not really announced anywhere, at least anywhere that I saw. It wasn't in any patch notes, it wasn't posted on their Twitter, anything like that. However, in the past few days, I'd gotten some people messaging me on a few different platforms, and I'd seen some people on Reddit talking about it, that there has indeed been a change made to the busy little bee in PvP environments in the game that includes the Dark Zone, conflict, and so after figuring out kind of everything that's gone on with it, I wanted to let you all know what the current status is. So I would say this all started back around February 27th. I will put this tweet up that Morten Ryberg said regarding, the gun in the game. He said, "We know about the busy little bee for PvP, it will be addressed." Usually, however, when you see devs tweeting about stuff like this, it does not mean addressed in the next coming days. It means addressed at the very earliest in like a 0.1, 0.2, 0.3 update for a patch later on down the line, or even the next major title update. So when he said this, I figured this might be something we would see in Year 5 Season 1. However, upon going over to the known issues board, I will leave a link for this down in the description below if you want to check it out for yourself, but you will see under the fixed ready category, it lists this thing, which says busy little bee target's damage per stack value is not updated correctly when toggling item details in view PvP stats mode. So what that means is, and this is why, in addition to them not really announcing this, why so many people didn't really pick up on anything, is because when you look in the game, it still says the old talent descriptor for the PvP version of the talent, right? Which previously, and it still performs this way in PvE, is that you get 20% damage per stack that you build once you swap back on the gun, right? However, you can see in the description of this, it says busy little bee's damage per stack value is now 2% in PvP environments. So that is a major change, and we'll talk about that in just a second. But yes, this change is now live in the game right now. So the busy little bee will no longer grant you that 20% value per stack in those PvP environments. It is now that 2% mark. I'm gonna guess this went live with Season 11 the other week. I mean, maybe it went live with a maintenance that happened thereafter, but I don't really know. It doesn't really matter. It's in the game now. Let's talk about it. Overall, I am happy to a degree. Look, this thing needed some sort of adjustments, right? It didn't necessarily have to be damage. We'll talk about that in a second, but the way it worked before was just not very balanced, right? You could get 20% damage per stack, but the real stinger was that you could get those stacks on NPCs in the Dark Zone and then carry that buff around indefinitely. It didn't go away if those enemies died. It didn't go away if you got a certain range away from them. It didn't go away if you exited combat. You just could hold on to it indefinitely until you ran into your next PvP fight, swap your gun, and all of a sudden you have 40, 60, 80, 120, 200% extra damage against the person for that 10 seconds, and that was just pretty insane. So I absolutely appreciate that they went in and changed something about it. However, 2% is a drastic change from the 20 that it used to be at. This thing really had the negotiator's problem. If you remember a while ago with negotiator's dilemma in PvP, it used to have an issue where, or just its old functionality was that there was no range limitation, so you could mark a player with the negotiator's mark, go mark an NPC, and then just shoot the NPC, and it would damage the player at an infinite range, right? And so what they ended up doing is made it so that the targets that were marked had to be within a certain distance of each other, and that inherently helped with the balancing of it. And so honestly, maybe 20% was a bit much, but they could have easily kept it at like a 10% value and then just had it so that you lost the stacks when you go out of combat, or if you do something like that, to just, rein in its strength like that in a way, because now it's a 2%, and that's basically unusable. I mean, still you're going to get some extra damage, and that's nice, but I don't think I'm really going to care about running the busy little bee anymore in PvP if I'm only getting, I shoot 3 odds to get 6% extra damage for 10 seconds. Wow, that's really nothing, right? Like I said earlier, overall, I still think this is a net positive. I would rather the busy bee have 2% per stack than 20%. It's going to, create a more balanced PvP environment, but it is too bad that this exotic will pretty much now be used by nobody. And I don't know what the circumstances were that led to this being so secretive. I don't know if it was a change that maybe they had planned for later on, but it was ready pretty early, so they just threw it into a maintenance. I don't know, but again, I was not aware of this until people started telling me about it. It wasn't, from what I saw, put in any patch notes or maintenance notes. I'm still guessing that a lot of people are hearing about this for the first time watching this video. So in the future, I hope that we get some more transparency on this stuff. Obviously, it's always good to be in the loop with what sort of balancing changes are being made. But for now, everybody, that is the latest on the Busy Little Bee in PvP. It has been nerfed, and that is the current status of it in Season 11. I very much hope you all enjoyed this video. If you did, a like would be super appreciated, and be sure to click that subscribe button with turning on the bell icon so that you don't miss out on any of my future uploads. And let me know what you all think about this change, everybody. What do you think about the actual nerf itself? Do you think it was too much? Maybe the right amount? And also let me know what you think about the odd kind of secrecy that came around it. Again, I'm not going to say it was necessarily nefarious. I don't think they were trying to hide anything, but I just think it was a bit odd how it was all handled. But either way, it's in the game now, and I will be curious to hear your thoughts. Thank you all so much for watching, and I'll see you in the next one. RogueGold. Ow.